Now let's settle for AM Business. It's brought to you courtesy of EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. And today, James Ashan reports that some investors within Ghana's automotive industry want government to explore various options, that is, in addressing the high taxes causing distress within the space. What's the way forward? AM Business up next.
So I just want to know what influenced the decision to start assembling cars in Ghana?
Yes, actually, to be honest, you know, a few years ago the government came up with a policy, and we were invited to discuss about it, all the stakeholders, and actually we saw that it was a good opportunity for, first of all, for Ghana to industrialize, second of all, for us to also become more committed into the industry by starting the assembly and later on even going to other places in the future. So yes, I would say it was the policy the policy introduction, and for us we were happy that this would take us to another level as a country in the future.
Speaking about policy, recently I've been engaging some players within the automobile industry. They're raising concerns with respect to some gaps within this policy. I don't know, what are some of these gaps in this policy you would want to share with me, or you feel something can be done to improve it?
Actually, I wouldn't say there are gaps as much as it is normal. Like in any country, when there's a new policy being implemented, definitely there will be back and forth where the different stakeholders will be sitting with the government and the government agencies to discuss if there are any certain things that needs to be, you know, adjusted or updated. And also, on the other side, I think the policy, in the policy, there's a period that every few years the policy has to be, you know, the whole stakeholders or the committee, the whole committee should sit to see if there's anything that needs to be revised or anything that needs to be updated. So definitely you will always have things that will be noticed at a later stage, but there is always open dialogue between the stakeholders and the government and the different government agencies to see if there's anything to be done or any discussions to be taking place.
Having to assemble cars here in Ghana, one common concern would have to do, or basically have to do with the cost of operations. Assembling cars here in Ghana and bringing in cars, how is the cost of operations like?
Now, of course, if you wanna discuss about the cost itself, usually, definitely there'll be additional cost for us to be assembling here. But with the structure of the policy, the way it was put, there were certain exemptions, like duty exemptions and other taxes exemptions, which will make even though there is an additional operational cost to assemble those vehicles, but it will make the price more attractive than the imported vehicles because of the, as I said, the exemptions and the taxes that are being exempted on these vehicles.
There have been a lot of concerns out there. People are asking questions with respect to the fact that people are saying, are you guys just assembling the cars or it's just the component?
Actually, definitely we are not manufacturing at the moment, we are assembling. So usually the cars are coming in different components, and then we assemble them here and we reassemble the whole vehicle to make sure that it is assembled completely. Of course, there are some concerns that where are we going or this. Also, I always, you know, talk about it in this way, that people who are raising these concerns should go back to read the policy, because also the policy explains the whole steps of how things will be going. The policy is into 3 different levels of assembly. It starts with the SKD, which is the semi-knockdown. Then you have another level which is called the enhanced SKD, which is the enhanced semi-knockdown. And then the third level will be the CKD, which is the completely knocked down. Of course, at the moment, almost all the assemblers are at the first level, because first of all, to move to the next level or the third level in the future, we need to build capacity. So we're starting from the level 1, where our employees and our local staff are being trained on how to do these things. And of course, with the revision of the policy every few years, we may be obliged to move to second level or the third level, which with time we will complete to reach to a stage where we are completely knocked down. But also at the same time, for us to reach to that level, there is a policy that is coming in by the government which is related to the component manufacturing policy, which will also encourage people to come and invest into component manufacturing, because for us, if we want to reach to a level where we have completely knocked down or even assembling locally manufactured components, we need to have a whole policy that will help and attract foreign investments to come in, for them to start, manufacturing components here, which will then take us to more and more sophisticated levels in the future.
Now, so let's look at taxes. In recent times, we've seen government imposing taxes. It appears the private sector is sort of crowding out with respect to some of these taxes and all that. You players within the automobile industry, to what extent is it affecting your operations?
Now, definitely, as I said, in the automotive business as a whole, all the taxes that are getting imposed are applied on us as well. Like, because also our business model is not only assembled vehicles. We have also spare parts. We have other components that we sell. Like, for example, in our case, we do tires, we do batteries, we do also other components. So, of course, there are taxes that have been added in the last 1 or 2 years. Definitely, also we know that the inflation in the country has also, which everybody is facing in the country. So yes, I would say economically things are not in the best shape. But for us as the private sector, we always hope and pray that things will get better. We always plan ahead and see and hope that things will get better, so we can be able to provide our customers the best products and services that we can. The only place where there are exempted taxes, as I mentioned earlier, is on the assembled vehicles. And we hope that with this in place, will maybe attract more people to buy assembled vehicles in Ghana.
Some are also saying, it appears you guys have an association. Why don't you push government to sort of have some tax relief to bring down the cost of operations and all that? Have you guys been pushing enough, or you feel the government is basically neglecting your concerns?
I wouldn't say that. We, as I mentioned earlier, we are in constant discussions with the government of how we can tackle these issues. Of course, as an association which I belong to, we have had several discussions with the government and different government agencies to see how we can find solutions in a way where like the taxes are a little bit more how do I put it, bearable. For us also, what we always encourage the government and we encourage is to widen the tax net, because by widening the tax net, the pressure on the government in getting revenue will be less. Because for us, this is where we will feel that the more the tax net is widened, the more we will be all relieved. Because at the moment, you have a smaller percentage of people who are paying the taxes, and when the revenues are there to be collected, these are the same people who are being looked at, or like people are the government is expecting that the people who are registered or the people who are known that they are paying taxes, these are the people who will be also taken into consideration for the revenue collection. So for us, we believe that widening the tax will help us achieve tax revenues without putting pressure on the small population that are already paying. And of course, as I said, we are always, as an association, as different associations which we belong to, we've always been sitting with the government to find solutions on how we can find solutions in a way where we can make it in a way more cost-friendly for us as companies.
Now, so there's a growing concern also that had to do with the fact that government definitely cannot buy all these cars. What are you guys doing to ensure that private sector or the private players can also buy some of these cars that are being assembled here in Ghana?
Definitely. Now, with the government they have different, like the government, they have given a presidential order that any cars that are being bought by the government, the priority should be for the assembled vehicles. And I think this is a good step for us as assemblers. But of course, as you said, it's not enough. We need also the private sector to also be buying from us assembled vehicles. I'm sure by the policy being fully implemented, the auto policy being fully implemented in place, this will also make the assembled vehicles more attractive in terms of pricing for the private sector to, opt to buy them. So I think this is one as the first point. The second point that we believe is also what was announced by the government, and we've been discussing it for a while, is also the government is talking to different stakeholders to have like a fund where loans at low interest rate will be given to the private sector or individuals to be able to buy assembled vehicles at a cheaper cheaper funding rate.
Now, another thing also, since you started assembling cars here in Ghana, what has been the response from the local market? Has it been positive or has it been negative? What has basically been the response?
No, I would say it has been positive. We have not been assembling cars for a long time, but so far so good. The people are also, some of our customers are happy that they are buying vehicles that are assembled in Ghana. So also we as a company, we are known for our after sales service and our focus on our customers. So this is like creating more and more confidence between us and our customers. And also we are also, like telling our customers that we are trying as much as possible to assemble as much as models that we can, so we can make it also more attractive for them to be able to buy it at better pricing. So far we have started with 6 models of Kia, and we are planning to introduce also another 3 models in the next few months. So we'll have a total of 9 models. Also we are also adding light commercial vehicles into the line. So we are trying as much as possible to give more and more diversity to our customers so they can have more and more attractive pricing in the future.
As a private business in the country, within the past 5 months, we've seen the Bank of Ghana increasing the policy rate, which means definitely when you go to the banks for the lending rate would be very expensive there. I don't know, is that also affecting operations to you guys within the automobile industry?
Definitely, in general, it is affecting the business in general because, as you said, taking loans from the banks is at a higher interest rate. But as I said, for us, we also pray that the measures that are being taken by the government should also, make sure that the interest rates goes down in the future. But when it comes to the assembled vehicles in particular, as I said, there are discussions between the government and different institutions on how to provide, like even Afrixim, also other entities where discussions are happening where they can have a fund that is specially given for assembled vehicles, so they can take it at a very low interest rate so they don't get affected by the high interest rates on the bank loans at the moment.
Now let's look at pricing. I just want to know, cars assembled here in Ghana and ones being imported, are there any differences?
In terms of differences, they are exactly the same vehicles that we used to import. The only difference is we're assembling them here. So they come in different components, and we do the assembly and we sell them on the market. But when it comes to the quality, or it comes to the options or the different trims, for us, as far as I know from our side, we are even bringing the same trims that we used to bring before with the same options, same vehicles. It's only a matter that you see them in components instead of coming completely built. Also, for us, this gave us the opportunity, because of the taxes, is we are also introducing more options. Like also we're introducing new engines, because before a higher, bigger engine used to attract more taxes. So also now we're being able to introduce more options or more engines which can attract the customers.
Yeah.
Before, we used to have demands from the customers, and we used to tell them, okay, we can do that, but this is what will be the tax difference on these vehicles in terms of engine and other stuff. Then they say, no, let's stick to what you have because of the price difference. Now we are being able to provide that in a more attractive way. So also this is allowing us to serve our customers better.